camera cut off, but point is I was like, I don't really understand how you could sit there and do that to someone. I don't know. And that was really boggled my mind because I was like, if we were to switch the situation out a bit, I would have done something, and I don't understand why. Like, even just a quick, hey, how are you doing? No, it was nothing, and that really, really hurt. Um, and I would do this thing where I would stop texting her and just see how long it took her during the time that I wasn't in school to respond back to me. And I tried to make plans with her. And one of the days that I did make plans with her successfully, I was having a really, really rough day. I remember we went to the mall, and I literally just sat there in Hollister, like on the ground, hysterically crying. And I get that's not a comfortable thing for anyone to have to deal with, and I'm aware of that. But I would like to think that, like, that one time where something didn't go great, 8 years of friendship, or yeah, about 8 years at that point of friendship, versus, one hysterical meltdown. I don't know. And during that time, when that happened, do you think she tried to comfort me? No. I mean, she just sort of stood there, and I understand that not a lot of people know what to do in that situation. But I feel like common sense kind of just would be like, hey, are you okay? Do you want me to get you water? Like, something. But whatever. Like I said, maybe my expectations are a bit too high. And I'm not saying that sarcastically, just so you know. And the story doesn't end there. Comes graduation, she runs off. Like, I didn't even get to say congratulations to her. She just runs off with her family. Like, nothing. She didn't text me to say, hey, I'm gonna be leaving right now. Like, whatever. Nothing. I took friends with one of my, I took pictures with one of my friends, and coworker, and then I called her, and she's like, oh, I left. I'm like, okay, thank you for just going off without me. And I haven't spoken to her since. Actually, she asked me what I was doing for my birthday, because my birthday was a week after graduation, and that was it. That was the last bit of contact I've had with her. And I know this sounds like, saying it right now in the calm, like, persona that I'm putting on for the internet makes it sound like it's nothing, but it really, really, really was quite, like, I had so many breakdowns over the fact that my best friend wasn't acting like a friend to me, and I've had hour-long conversations with my mom and with other supports and support system in my life, and just talking about this one thing. And I journal because I find it kind of helpful, and I could just sit there and point to like 15 different entries where this came up, and it's still coming up in my life. But this in itself isn't the only reason why I am not seeking out friendship. The second reason is there was another girl, we're gonna call her Caitlin, and Caitlin and I met in 8th grade. We kind of kept a communication line for a while, and then 9th grade we really started to get to know each other when high school started. And I always felt like the friendship was a friendship of convenience for her. I don't think she ever really truly liked me as a person, but like truly, truly liked me, like wanted to be and hang out with me all the time. And I understood that, like, friends don't have to be serious, like, like ride or die, for lack of a better terminology. Anyway, throughout high school, her and Brittany get really close my junior year because they have a class together. And I'm like, that's cool. I mean, Caitlin, Brittany, and I all sat around the same place at lunch, so it was fine. We all knew each other, so I didn't care. And there was a slight altercation where one of her other friends was quite literally, if she was telling the truth, bullying her. And I told her, pretty much, it's not worth your time. And that was the gist of the conversation. There was other parts to it, I'm not going to lie, and it wasn't the most pleasant conversation to have with someone, but I was doing it out of doing it because I cared about her, and I didn't want her to be hanging around with someone who constantly called her like names and brought her down. I always had my suspicions that she was lying about it to some extent. I didn't think she was completely lying about it. I think she was maybe altering the details, because if you were to ask her a question, she would like triple down and change how the entire thing went about. So it just didn't feel really real to me, but I took her at her word, and I'll still mostly take her at her word for it. Because this individual that was bullying her didn't have the best reputation with friends. Anyway, so that happened, and then I want to say for like 2 weeks afterwards, we were fine. Like, I didn't, whatever, it was just normal. And then I went to the hospital, like I said earlier, and I get back from the hospital, and I'm completely in a state of like, it starts with D, and I can't remember the word. I'm very withdrawn. At that point, I was kind of in just like I was there in person, not in mind, type of thing the first day that I got back. And there's definitely a word for it, and I just can't, disassociation. I was disassociating a lot when I first got back, because I was just, I don't even know the word for it. I was just disassociating a lot. And I was really out of it. And I remember when I went to sit back with Brittany and Caitlin at lunch, I was waiting, not necessarily waiting for them to say something, but like I just didn't know, like I wasn't in it. But I noticed that like neither of them even acknowledged my presence, and I just sat there because in my mind I was like, that's fine, whatever. They don't need to like make a big deal about me coming back to school. It was just kind of like I wasn't there. Like I said, wasn't there mentally. I was just kind of all out of it. And this continues, the complete, and when I started coming back into myself, like as the weeks went on, they, continued, or Caitlin at the very least continued to ignore me, and that really, she did not say a word to me. I would try talking to her, I would directly say, like, Caitlin, why are you ignoring me? Like, you're really hurting my feelings. She would sit on her phone, pretend I didn't exist. I asked Brittany, like, did she say anything? Like, did I do something wrong while I was in the hospital? Like, what happened? And she's like, oh, she's like, pretty much, she just doesn't like you anymore. And I'm like, alright, nice. So then I have to leave school again, for more medical reasons, towards, like, May, June-ish in the year. And, after all of the terrible things that, Brittany, or rather Caitlin at that point, had done to me, I was still wanting to, have communication with her in some way. But I left school again because I couldn't be in school for medical reasons. And you would think that during the time that I wasn't at school again, because I was only doing school part-time because health reasons, I couldn't stay full-time. Let me rephrase, I was doing school part-time, but I was, like, part-time at school, but I was still doing full-time school, if that makes any sense. And during that time, you would think that, Brittany seeing everything that Caitlin had done to me, and ignoring me, and just treating me terribly, that she would, maybe not sit with her. And I told her from the get-go, I am not telling you what to do with your friendships. I'm not here to. And I don't think anyone should be here to tell someone what to do with their friendships. But I seriously think it goes to show how much consideration she put into my feelings about it. Because I remember one time I was a little bit earlier to school that I normally would have been on my reduced schedule. And I saw them sitting and talking to each other. And they didn't notice me because I was just passing by. But it was just kind of like one of those, like, wow, someone actually did that to you after 8 years of friendship. So, and like I said, I know I'm sounding very, like, egotistical and, like, everyone should stop everything that they're doing just for me. But no, that's not what I'm trying to say, guys. I'm trying to say, like, if you place yourself into if you were to place yourself in the situation that I was in, you would maybe see things a bit more as how hurtful they actually were. Like I said, I'm not trying to over dramatize this, but pretty much the point of this video is going back to the original question, why am I not seeking out any friendships during college? And the shortest summation of everything I just said is because I am not at a point in my life where I feel like I can trust people enough. It's not even that. It's just like I have no desire to want to be around people. During summer, I only hung out 3 times with people, and that was it. And they were all co-workers, or one was a previous co-worker, but yeah, I never, yeah, I don't know, guys. That's pretty much the point, I guess. So I don't trust people. I don't feel comfortable talking to people and more than just, acquaintance, con-acquaintance. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm not going to, like, if someone tries to be my friend, I'm going to be like, no, get away, type of thing. Like, if friends come naturally, then they'll come naturally. I'm not going to push people away. Or at least I'm not going to try to push people away. But I'm going to, keep all the information that I've learned over the past few years in mind. And if anything that I got out of this experience is that I know what values I'm looking for in a friendship. And I also know that I always devalue myself in friendships. And I, think that, like, oh my gosh, someone wants to talk to me. Like, they're the most amazing person, because why would they want to talk to a person like me? Like, putting them on a pedestal type of thing. Yeah. Point as friends is to be sure that you have your what you want in a friendship. Make that list for yourself and compare that with the qualities that you see in your own friends. And if that's what you want to see, then that's what you want to see. And if you don't see those qualities, then maybe you should rethink the friendship. So that's all for now.